G'day members, thanks for all your feedback on the first edition of YouTube that came out last week. It was predominantly positive, but we did get that one comment about my head being good for radio. Despite that, we're going to kick on and try and use this medium for some regular EA updates for the QANTAS Lame EAs. We had our first meeting with the company yesterday, and we were introduced to the QANTAS Chief Financial Officer, a guy by the name of Gareth Evans. Gareth actually put up a presentation on the overhead and talked to that, and essentially, if I could sum it up, QANTAS are in a pretty good position financially, certainly picking up out of the global financial crisis, and he did, however, elaborate on some of the challenges that they face, and predominantly it's covering the costs of all the new aircraft that are coming in to the QANTAS Group over the next 3 or 4 years. So that's how we started. Then we moved on to presenting a rough log of claims that has been put together by the ALAEA. We read that out to the company and discussed some of the matters just briefly, and it was an extensive list, but it was put together after feedback from you guys, so when you actually do get to see the list, I don't want anyone to think it's excessive. I did want to talk about one of the things on there which just demonstrates legally where we sit on some of the issues that we're fighting for, and that's one of the items which is a free laptop computer for each Lame EA. Now, I know it may seem a little bit excessive, but there needs to be a little bit of understanding, and if we have a look back over the last 5 years when we all enjoyed the opportunity to have salary sacrifice laptops, that's probably really what we want back. But it's really hard to put in a log of claims or something that's essentially an item that relates to the Lame EAs and the laptops that they receive and the taxation department at one of their rulings. So what we've decided to do is put in a claim for free laptops for everyone, hoping that QANTAS will then put the steps in place so that they can make the salary sacrifice arrangement legitimate again. So just one of the items on our list. So members, after lunch we moved into the second session of the EA discussions, and essentially the ALAA outlined that we're going to need some more time to put together our wages claim, and in order to do that we're expecting to have some feedback sessions with you guys, and those meetings will take place in the second half of October in the various ports around the country. The next EA meeting that's organised with the company will take place on the 14th of October, and at that meeting there's an expectation that the ALAA will go into further details on the log of claims, the portion that has been presented to date, and the company are going to sit down with us and run through their rough list of claims and things they're going to try and achieve through the course of these negotiations. Okay, the next thing I'd probably like to have a bit of a chat about is the recent communications put out by the ALAA. We've had a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to feedback, particularly on a notice that was issued titled The Army of One, and I think it's appropriate for me to at least explain some of the reasons behind that notice and how it came to be. And if I could just make an initial point, and that is certainly the notice is not a call to arms for members to start gearing up for some sort of action against the airline. The notice actually has quite a bit of history behind it, and essentially you guys are just seeing the pointy end of what's taking place behind the scenes. And for 80% of the membership, they probably read it and think, well, you know, I don't really understand this, and why anyone would feel this way, because the majority of members are pretty happy in their workplace. But then there's the other portion of our membership, which I estimate would roughly be 20% of our members, and they're the guys who go into work every day and they find that their career is floundering, or they feel like they're being discriminated against, and essentially just want to have some decency returned to their working conditions. Now, the notice itself is not an attack on professionalism or something like that, or something that's going to make us look any different than we are in the eyes of management. It was actually issued to draw attention to the QANTAS managers at the senior level as to some of the things that are taking place, and I know engagement is very high up on the list with managers at the moment, and what we've done, we've actually now been able to, through that notice, discuss those matters with the CFO yesterday, and also with the communication issue by Chris Nazenstein the other day. It's opened up a channel or a conduit for us to debate some of the things and draw his attention to some of the problems that are being achieved. Now, look, without going into too many details, because there are so many that I'd like to discuss but are a little bit personal, I will, however, give the membership a bit of an understanding of one particular issue that's probably behind a notice like that. And if we could think about the base of Cairns for a minute, and what we have up there, it's a base run by 2 DMMs and the Queensland manager who sits in Brisbane. Now, we had a member recently who was asked to come into the office for a bit of feedback about his performance. Now, I'm talking about a bloke who's been in the system for at least 20 years, heavily licensed, never put a foot out of line in the workplace, and he's been berated by his two DMMs in the office. I had a bit of an argument, a he said, she said thing about something that took place on the tarmac. The next day, he was dragged into the office again and told that he had to sign a sheet. And I'm going to show you this thing. It's a new tool that Qantas management have put in place, and it's called, and I'll hold it up here, it's just a sheet like this, and it's called a Leadership Navigator. Now, on this Leadership Navigator is a list of the conversation that took place, and it says here some things. In one column it's got a list of behaviours you agree to change. And what it actually says there, the first item on the list is honesty. Now, our member's been put in a position where he's been told he has to sign this form that says he's going to improve his honesty. And obviously you put two and two together, that means the company think he's been dishonest. Now, that's not the sort of thing that's going to increase your engagement with your employees. And essentially the discussions that we've had with senior management are that you're very big on engagement, but it's not engagement between senior levels of management that needs to take place. It's engagement between the senior levels of management and the middle level of managers who run around and rule with an iron fist. We don't want to see PowerPoint presentations put together by a management and communications department, given to managers and told, go and deliver this to your workforce, when they don't really mean anything that's put in the print in those presentations. So essentially, yes, the notice was not for everyone, but it was very important for those 20% of our members who feel like they don't have support in the workplace. The guys who go home and in some cases, I know personally, are in tears because they feel like their careers are floundering. It's for those guys who are on antidepressants, and it's really important for us to highlight the issue of decency in the workplace, and it's a very important notice. It is being explained by me here, though, because I think people need to understand that there's a lot of history behind that, and it's not an issue that we put out at the drop of a hat. It's actually well thought of, and that notice was discussed amongst our staff for several days before it was released. All right, well, that's about it for the first update for the QANTAS EA, and we'll see you next time.